Veteran Salute is sponsored by the Devon James Injury Lawyers.
A Wichita East graduate says after high school, he went to K-State and joined the ROTC program. As
Gwen Bevel and photojournalist Nicholas Kiefer show us, when he headed to pilot training, he says peace talks were happening, but the Vietnam War was still on.
Woody Swain says during his service, he fell right into place at the right time. He encourages others to join the military. He says it makes you feel good, and it's also a great way to gain new skills. Those Swain gained took him to new heights.
I mean, there's my name.
Woody Swain is proud of this model of the F-4 Phantom, and thanks to his skills and smarts, he got to choose what he describes as what was the leading fighter aircraft in the Air Force at the time.
Bomber, air-to-air fighter, nuclear delivery. So it was, you know, it was a fun airplane to fly.
Swain spent most of his time flying at great speeds.
Speed really kind of is relative to something that's fairly close to you.
He says they would typically fly 350 to 500 miles per hour, but the plane could fly up to 1,500.
One of the first things they told you is you need to be thinking about 6 miles ahead of the aircraft.
He says pilots have a very special relationship with their weapon systems operators, also known as the guys in back, or GIBs.
You relied on him a lot to, you know, get you out of bad situations or keep you in good situations.
He says the crews were serving at a time of peace, but they were always on alert.
If you know, the U.S. decides that they need you to deploy somewhere or do some kind of a combat mission, you're ready.
He says the 421st Tactical Fighter Squadron was constantly training for special missions in Thailand. He says they called themselves the Black Widows.
Being able to fly a high-performance aircraft and do a lot of neat stuff with it, you know, that in and of itself, I'd say, was the highlight.
Swain also served in the Philippines.
They had a small test squadron there that called the First Test Squadron.
He says he enjoyed his time training the next generation of combat air crews.
Would train air crews in firing radar and heat-seeking air-to-air missiles at drones. It was part of the training.
The pilot says they would fly chase to ensure the missions were safe.
It's going fast and things happen fast, so you got to think ahead and try to anticipate things.
He says that was especially the case as they gained certain skills.
One of the things that you had to learn to do was how to air-to-air refuel.
Swain says they had to fly steady so the tanker could make contact and drop fuel.
Did it for the first time, it was pretty nerve-wracking.
He says eventually they got used to refueling while flying 350 miles per hour in the Phantom.
It was kind of a mainstay fighter throughout the world.
And Swain was very talented in the cockpit of the fighter as well as in academics from the very beginning when he was awarded the Commander's Trophy for being the top of his class.
It's been over 40 years ago.
He says he still gets together with his classmates that became lifelong friends.
This was the F-4 training class.
Woody is pictured here at one of their reunions with the aircraft he once flew. Swain got out of the military in '78 and says it was a tough time to find a job as a commercial pilot. He became an engineer with the flight test section at McDonnell Douglas, which was the company that developed the F-4. He says about 6 months into that job, his alma mater, K-State, told him about a job with Koch Industries, so he moved back to his hometown. That's where he spent 36 years working. Here for you, Gwen Bevel, KSN News 3.
The Devon James Injury Lawyers here, and we're excited to be with our Veteran of the Week, and that's Captain Woody Swain, who proudly served our country for 6 years in the United States Air Force. On behalf of all of Kansas, thank you for your service.
Thank you very much, and I'll be donating this gift to Passageways, which is a local charity that assists veterans in need. Again, thank you.
Veteran Salute is sponsored by the Devon James Injury Lawyers.